Hey everyone, so today we're going to be unboxing and checking out the nuxefx Amp Academy. I think Customs has already opened it before me and taken a look, so hopefully everything is still inside, but let's check it out. So as we open up the box, the very first thing we get is the pedal itself, and it is a beautiful looking pedal. I'm going to keep this aside for a minute and let's see what else we get in the box. We get the manual, and there's another little box in the pedal which has a TRS cable splitter which will be used for our insert right over here, which is our FX loop, return and send. So they save space on the pedal by making it one port utilizing a TRS cable, which then splits into the send and return. And finally, we also have the nuxefx international guarantee and warranty card right here. As usual, the nuxefx packaging and the build quality is just fantastic. I really love the finish on this pedal. It kind of feels like a road and has this nice brushed metal over here which gives it that real amp look. The pedal is essentially a dual channel amp in a box, but it also brings in modern technology which includes the feature of scenes, which is on their pedal MG30 as well. Now if you're wondering what scenes is, it's exactly like snapshots if you're from the Line 6 ecosystem. And in the recent firmware update of the Amp Academy, they also made this feature better by making scenes into pro scenes. Now, not only can you just change the parameters within a preset, you can actually change effects as well. So you could have a hall reverb on scene 1, and when you switch to scene 2, it could be a room reverb. It's essentially like having a patch within a patch, and they call it pro scenes. The Amp Academy also comes with its own software which you can use to edit all the settings of the pedal very easily. You can edit amp channel A and B as well as the 3 pro scenes available on each of them. After that, you can save, you can export, as well as importing previously saved presets or something that maybe a friend of yours has made. As the name suggests, Amp Academy, it's all about amps, but this pedal has a lot more to offer than just the amps. It also has noise reduction, effects, which is your compressors, overdrives and distortions. It has a built-in EQ, impulse responses, support for third-party impulse responses from your favorite creators, an effects loop, send and return, and finally it has reverbs as well. The pedal has a whole bunch of amps ranging from something clean like a twin reverb all the way to something super saturated like a dual rectifier. The pedal gets shipped with chop tones, impulse responses built right in. And it has 1024 sample resolution for all its IRs with a third-party IR loader so that you're able to take your favorite amp sounds wherever you go. Now the EFX block on the Amp Academy has 2 compressors to choose from and 7 overdrive/distortion pedals that are available as well. When it comes to EQ, even though there are just these 4 knobs here on the bottom, which is the bass, the middle, the treble, and the presence, if you get into the app that comes along with the Amp Academy, you get a 6-band EQ module which you can use to tweak your sound even further. The Amp Academy also has 5 options of reverb which you can choose from: a room reverb, a hall reverb, a plate reverb, a spring reverb, and a damp reverb. By connecting the Amp Academy to the software that's provided, it will also give you access to a drum machine as well as a looper that's built into the software. On the front of the pedal has 8 knobs to control its different parameters. On the top row, we have controls for gain, master, boost, and noise reduction. And the bottom row has the EQ controls, which are bass, middle, treble, and presence. In the middle of both the knobs, we have 3 toggle switches. The first one selects the amp for channel A, while the second one selects the amp for channel B, and the third one selects which scene we are on. Now, while there are only 3 options of amps for each of these toggles, you can connect to the software, and that's going to give you a lot more options as to what you can do with channel A and channel B. There are 2 foot switches on the pedal. One is to select between channel A and B, while the other one is to toggle between the 3 different scenes. Pressing and holding down the left foot switch is going to save the settings that you keep on your pedal, while pressing and holding down the right foot switch are going to give you access to alternate controls on the top here, and these controls are your reverb controls. The first one being the decay and the second one being the level. On the back of the pedal we have our input jack. Then we have two toggles, one to control the DI lift setting and the next to control the IR output setting. Then we have our output jack, the effects loop send and return, followed by the DC 9V port to power the pedal, and finally the USB-C port to connect to the software, make firmware updates, as well as use the pedal to record into your DAW. And if you're running a setup that needs MIDI to be accessed on this pedal, you can do so through that same USB-C port as well. On the left side of the pedal, they've included something that's really nice to see on a pedal like this. We have an aux in as well as a headphone jack, followed by a DI XLR port. Now the aux in and the headphone jack, for all of you who are practicing at home and want to practice without making any noise, this is perfect. You're going to get all your amp tones straight into your earphones. Plus you can jam along to your favorite tracks through that aux port. And having this DI XLR port here is going to be the perfect thing for all of you running straight to an in-house mixer or an audio interface recording in the studio. Alright, so now I've spent a bit of time on the wonderful software that comes with the Amp Academy, and I've been able to make some epic tones as well as different scenes for each of them. The software is super intuitive, and if you've ever used nuxefx quick tone editing software, you know just what I'm talking about. Just like on the QuickTone editing software, you can do the same thing and rearrange all the blocks to whatever order you want. You can also save presets, export presets, import presets, as well as add whatever third-party impulse response you want. But without wasting any more time, let's take a listen to some of the sounds that I've made. For this video, I'm only going to be using the Amp Academy. I'm going to be running my guitar straight into the Amp Academy and then going into my audio interface straight into my DAW. I'm not going to be using any other delays or any other reverbs or anything. So that way you guys are going to get a clear idea of just what this thing can do. Alright, let's get right to it. Alright, so what are my final thoughts about the Amp Academy? I think this thing is a beast of a pedal and can cover so much ground for your pedal board. At the start of the video, I said the Amp Academy is basically an amp in a box kind of pedal. But after playing through it for quite a while, I can see that it's far more than just that. The tones you can get from the Amp Academy are super versatile, especially with the additions of the reverbs and the EFX. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of players might be able to just use this and get through a gig, or maybe just this and a delay and they would be totally fine. The amp and cabinet simulations are just brilliant, and there's so much flexibility for you to really dial in your sounds. So you can save 3 presets per channel, which you can select with this toggle over here and this toggle over here. So 3 for the channel A and 3 for the channel B, as well as 3 scenes for each of those presets. So in total that gives you 6 different amps, as well as 3 different settings for each of them, which you can save on the pedal. A feature that I also really like from the software was that you can actually reduce the number of scenes that are accessible on the pedal. So instead of having 3 scenes on the pedal, you can just make it 2. And this is super useful if you just have 2 sounds that you really need per amp, and it saves you that scrolling through the scenes to get to the ones that you want. The NuX Amp Academy, to my calculations, is about 7 pedals all put into one. It has a noise gate built in, it has EQ built in, it has EFX like compressors or overdrives, distortions, it has the amp in a box pedal, it has cabinet simulation, it has reverb, and there's just so much flexibility you have with all of those things. A quick note, the Amp Academy, being the powerhouse that it is, it does require slightly more juice than your average 9V 100 mAh pedal. And this thing runs on 9A 500 mAh. But that shouldn't be a problem because most of the power supplies out there do have a 9V 500 mAh high current port as well. But it's just something for you to note. There are a lot more expensive pedals that have tried to achieve what the Amp Academy has. But that being said, there's probably only a couple that have actually done it or managed to come close. And those pedals probably cost about 2 or 3 times as much as the Amp Academy. All in all, the Amp Academy has set the bar really high in all aspects. From build quality to sound quality and functionality, the Amp Academy is just exceptional. Along with the low price of just $189, this thing is a no-brainer. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it was helpful to you. If you're planning on buying this pedal as well, I'm going to leave a link down in the description box for you to pick it up. And I shall see you guys in the next video.